All right, welcome everybody. Please take a moment to share in the chat where you're joining from, what you're joining us with, a desktop, laptop, or tablet, or what you prefer to use. We are joining you ourselves from all over the world. I'm here with lovely Carmiña Mendoza Gómez, who's joining us from Mexico. I'm also here with Gaby Goury, who is in London in the UK. Yvonne Fu, who's joining us from St. Louis, Missouri, and Yolanda, Fetela, and Ntam, who's joining us from Brussels, Belgium, and myself, I am currently in Prague in the Czech Republic. So give us just a moment before we begin. I'm gonna just make sure that we do not have this play and leave sound. Perfect. Okay, we have quite a few people joining us. Let's see what it says in the chat. UK, Missouri, Chicago, Wales, Montreal, Virginia, quite a few from London, Canada, Ohio, Massachusetts. Okay, great seeing everyone. All right, so let's just carry on. Welcome to this event that is brought to you by Women Who Code. If you're not familiar, essentially, Women Who Code is an organization that exists to empower diverse women to excel in technology careers. That is our primary focus, and that's what we live to serve in every capacity for every stage of your technology career. And our vision is ultimately a tech industry where diverse women and historically excluded people can thrive at every level. We have a large international community, and this community spans 147 countries, and we have over 300,000 members and counting. Just a quick word about our code of conduct. Women Who Code is an inclusive community that's committed to providing an empowering experience for everyone who participates and supports our community, regardless of their background. And we cultivate and curate events that are intended to inspire women to excel in technology and help them upskill and further their careers in every capacity. If you want to read the full version of our code of conduct, you can visit our website at womenwhocode.com/code of conduct. You can also find out about our upcoming events. We have a wide spectrum of events for each technical track. We have many tracks from emerging technology, data science, Python, front end, cloud. This is a cloud track event. And you can learn all about the various events happening all across the world that are either live or online. And yeah, you can also register, or you can save events as you find them that may be of interest. And we typically have anywhere from 3 to 5 events going on every day in different parts of the planet. If you want to stay connected with the Women Who Code Cloud track, you can join us on Slack. I'll make sure to post the link in the chat in just a moment. And you can also follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and on Facebook. Our social media handles are the same, wwcodecloud across the board. There's also the main Women Who Code Cloud channels as well. You can find out everything on our website, or just go to beacons.ai with our specific track handle, and you can get access to all of these links. Okay, so on to today's event, Empowering Paths in the Cloud, Unveiling the AWS All Builders Welcome Grant, and AWS reInvent. Essentially, we'll be connecting with alumni. Every one of us is an alumni here. Hi, my name is Hope. I'm the 2023 Women Who Code Cloud Leadership Fellow. I'm also a coding instructor and a full stack software developer. Also here with Carmiña Mendoza Gómez, who is a DevOps engineer at Accenture and an AWS community builder. Yvonne Fu, who is an agile business analyst and an ABW grant mentor. So Yvonne knows what she's talking about. Gaby Goury, who is a senior consultant at IBM and an AWS accredited partner, and Yolanda, Fetela, and Ntam, who is a lead cloud instructor at Work on Cloud and also an AWS community builder. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about this. I would say feel free to take a screenshot, but essentially The background of the AWS All Builders Welcome Grant is really to find a way to just really energize the cloud technology community, and by bringing in underrepresented technologists from around the world that are in the first 5 years of their career. And it helps eliminate the financial barrier to attending re:Invent, and also provides immersive opportunities to learn, network, and build. This incredible grant includes registration for the conference, airfare to Las Vegas, hotel accommodations, a stipend, and then just 5 days of re:Invent content and activities, as well as a curated program, and really, really, truly very curated. There's something going on every day for grant participants. It's a large, very active community. Everyone's incredibly enthusiastic and warm. And essentially, they're just incredible opportunities for learning, career growth, community building, certifications, all kinds of keynotes. We get reserved seating for really, really cool talks and events that are happening at the conference, and specifically dedicated mentoring for ABW grant recipients with AWS leadership. And you can learn more about it on the re:Invent website. We'll be posting all of these links in the chat, but that was just to give you a little bit of context. I call AWS re:Invent Cloudchella because it certainly feels like it. It is an epic, epic, epic event. I would say drink your electrolytes, and really just make sure you train to go, because it takes place through all of the major resorts in Las Vegas. It's just massive. You're stimulated to the max. It's just really, really, really intense, but it's incredible. It's a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to go back. So anyway, that brings us to what we're here for. Today, we will be talking about the experiences each of us have had with AWS re:Invent and with the ABW grant. And each of our panelists will be talking about the highlights of their experience, the career impact, and we'll dive into specific tips and resources that we want to share to help you prepare for your application. Please note that the deadline for the application is September 1st. That's this Friday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Do not underestimate the application. It's quite a few essay statements. So we're here to try to help you with that as much as possible. And yeah, without further ado, let's carry on to our lovely panel. Once again, if you want to stay connected, you can follow us using our beacons.ai Women Who Code Cloud link. And that's it for that. Thank you everyone for joining us. And let's carry on. Okay. So I would love each of you to take a moment to introduce yourselves. I'm just going based on who I can see on the screen. Yvonne, would you mind starting?
Yes, thank you so much. As someone with a growth mindset, I could not be more excited to be part of this discussion today. I came from a very tech background, and I've taken a few years off for career sabbatical. When I was returning back to work, I was lost. And the opportunities to find, especially for events where cater to women in tech, it was not that easy. But I'm so glad that there are organizations like Women Who Code that gives women from diverse background to have a chance to elevate their career journey. So if there's one word that you would ask me, hey, what would you tell yourself, your younger self? I would say keep on learning, be a lifelong learner, especially being in the tech. It doesn't matter how long you have graduated from college. At the end of the day, keep on learning, have a growth mindset.
Thanks, Yvonne. Gaby, would you mind?
Hello, of course I would. Thank you for having me. So I am Gaby. I feel like a bit of a fraud whenever I come to Women Who Code events because I was a woman who coded during my master's degree, but I actually now am a consultant. So I'm much more in the kind of business and technical side, the kind of client discussion frame. So one thing that I'll probably talk about quite a lot is how, as a consultant and a Scrum Master, the grant program and going to reInvent was a really great opportunity for me to learn how I can better kind of lead and support my teams and my clients. So rather than going, to kind of sit in with the code and work with it, because again, I may have just abandoned my previous background. It was, a little bit of a different experience for me. So I'll be talking a bit more about what it means as a consultant and as someone that's in a kind of Scrum Master role. But glad to be here.
Anna?
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I work at Accenture as a DevOps engineer. And actually, I graduated as industry engineer, so it's something not related to tech. I thought that I was one of the few people who came from a different career from technology once I arrived to this industry. But actually, this grant let me know and open my eyes that everyone or most of the people come from a different career path. So if you're one of those people who are just coming into the cloud or into technology and you're afraid like this is something new, we are all new at some point. And as I said, most of people come from different paths. So that's a really great thing. And I've been now in the business tech and consultancy industry for 4 years. And I also work with communities to empower women in technology. One of that is the AWS user group from Colombia that I am part of. And I think it's great to empower people to get into technology. It's a great opportunity. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
And Yolanda?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. I'm very delighted to be part of this discussion to share my experience attending the AWS reInvent thanks to the All Builders Welcome grant. So just a little bit about who I am. I am an AWS community builder. I am 3 times AWS certified. I am the lead instructor at www.codecloud. My background is in accounting. I actually transitioned into tech thanks to this wonderful community, www.codecloud, which started as an initiative aimed at helping mainly individuals from sub-Saharan Africa gain fundamental cloud computing knowledge for free, irrespective of their various backgrounds. So supported by this great community, for which I was a pioneer student in 2020, I gradually evolved to being the lead instructor, and I am actually looking forward to inspiring many, many people who actually, like me, thought like technology was meant only for boys. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to this discussion.
Thanks so much, Yolanda. All right, so let's dive into the grant itself and the application process. It is an extensive application process. There are quite a few questions that are involved that are, I think it's like usually around 500 characters or so, but many times over. Just to give you a little bit of context, it asks you to list your technology-related education, training, your coursework history, and that's both informal and informal. And something I want to emphasize is the fact that the grant, the point of the grant is welcoming people from non-traditional technical backgrounds. And so I think quite a few of us here, some come from traditional backgrounds and some have taken a non-traditional path into tech. And one of the primary aims of the event today is just, encourage people not to disqualify themselves from applying or thinking that they are not worthy of, participating in such an event, or they're not smart enough or capable. AWS is a very big world. There are people that are just, out of this world, terrifying geniuses. And then there are also people that are just tinkering and playing. And it's ranges from the everyday user to full-blown technology experts. What I wanted to ask each of you would be to touch on your experience applying, if there are any particular things that you want to note from your backgrounds that you think added value to you being a part of the AWS community, particularly, say, Anna and Yolanda as AWS community builders. What does that mean for you being a builder? What does it mean either coming from a non-traditional technology background, or how do you feel like your background has served you in your role as an AWS community builder? Let's sum it up that way. Anna, do you mind starting?
Yeah, actually, the title of community builder, I got it after reInvent. So I think the opportunity of going as a grant allowed me to become a community builder. So community builder is a person who helps or has built something with AWS services, and it's actually a person that doesn't work for AWS. Like, you can work anywhere else, and if you provide knowledge, technical knowledge to the public, then you can apply to be a community builder. So after reInvent, I started to publish a little bit of blogs and conferences related to technology with AWS services. And that allowed me to actually get the community builder title. So I think now that I have it, AWS is just a community that empowers you to get more involved into its services. So if you are a community member or a community builder, it will be easier for you maybe to get into this grant. But if you're not, you can still get it. There is a few points that I will mention after. But yeah, it helps you, but it doesn't exclude you if you're not participating in these communities.
So I love that. I think, so you joined you became a part of the AWS, you were accepted into the AWS Community Builder program. Congratulations on that, following the conference. And so it actually allowed you to kind of elevate, or I would say maybe further in that capacity. It wasn't something that you had before. Okay, cool. Yolanda, do you mind elaborating on, how your background impacted your experience with AWS, or how you feel it adds value in some capacity?
Okay, as earlier mentioned, I started with www Cloud community, and that is where I got to know about the AWS Community Builders program from the founder of www Cloud. I sent in my application based on content I had created and shared on YouTube, and I was accepted. So before going to reInvent, I was a community builder. And it is thanks to this platform that I actually knew about the All Builders Welcome Grant. So just really encouraging anyone out here that it's very important to belong to a community. It must not necessarily be an AWS community builder. You can also join AWS user groups, as well as you can attend summits and stuff like that. You always get tips that might lead you to such opportunities and will definitely act in your favor. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Let's dive. Well, that's actually another point I want to mention is, while we're here to talk about the grant, there's also a thing to consider, which is, if you don't get the grant, there are other ways to engage, to show your enthusiasm and also build community. And the big point, I posted the link in the chat with the AWS Community Builders Program. It gives you access to incredible resources, connecting with subject matter experts, and just other tech enthusiasts throughout the world. And essentially, most of what community builders do is create technical content and just sharing AWS learning, whether in person or virtually. But in terms of why we're here, I want to dive a little bit further into tips for applying. And I'll leave this open, but Yvonne, as an AWS alum, ABW alum, and also a mentor, do you have any particular tips that you want to share about applying?
Yes, the first time I heard about it, actually, it was through LinkedIn summer 2021. And many times we tend to do, I should not generalize, we tell ourselves, oh, I will not be selected, right? But here's what I'm going to tell everyone, ladies and whoever, just do it. And at the end of the day, you have to give yourself the chance, right? And just do it. And this program, first of all, it welcomes everyone with all kinds of background. So the key is to show your enthusiasm. The key is to show you have a growth mindset. So don't do like what I did. I kind of ponder around for about a few weeks. Oh yeah, I'm not going to get it. But you know what? Just do it.
I love that. I think I'll take that as an opportunity to talk about an article that Anna wrote, which was sharing tips on the application process. I'm posting the article here in the chat, but Anna, would you mind speaking specifically? There was something that really resonated for me, which was something to keep in mind. We all come from different backgrounds, and sometimes it's challenging to frame our experiences or why we might be a good candidate. But something that you specifically highlighted in your article was keeping in mind the Amazon leadership principles in your application answers. And I thought that was really, really, one, very, very smart, and also giving a great framework to filter your experiences. Can you elaborate a little bit further on that?
Sure. So people from AWS breathe and all it's all around the leadership principles. So if you align to those in your application, in your writing, they will see it and they will feel like you belong there and you belong to that event. So I remember when I applied, there were 3 main questions that were the ones that you have to write kind of like an essay. The first one was about the career goals. What were your goals for long-term and short-term? And why do you want it to go to the event? And then the second one was, what experience do you have with AWS services? And the third one was, what are you most proud of? Which accomplishments do you have in your personal or professional life that you are most proud of? What I did is to separate those 3 questions and align them with a specific leadership principle. So what I feel that there's like a bunch of leadership principles. I think there are 14. There are 4 that I think that are more aligned with this scholarship, which is the learn and be curious, because of course we're people who are becoming to be a technologist. We are on our first 5 years of our career. So learn and be curious. The second one will be think big, because this is a great event, and there is a lot of people. It's 60,000 people attending there. So that's a big accomplishment, just to say that you were able to attend to reInvent. And I would say also customer obsession and ownership. So for the career goals, I focus my answer to the think big leadership principle. That will be like, what are you thinking? What are your ambitions for your professional life? And you have to explain that on the paragraph, right? Try to be objective and direct, but also try to show off a little bit. And related to experience with AWS, you can show off your learning skills. If you have certifications, if you belong to the community, all of that helps to show that you know AWS. And even if you don't, you can still apply and say that you are interested in, let's say, AI, or the new thing that AWS bring up was the generative AI. So you can talk about that, even though you don't know specifically the technical part. And finally, for your personal and professional accomplishments, what I did was to show what I have done, even in the most personal accomplishment or in the personal level. I tried to show what I think it was a great accomplishment, and I tried to show their ownership, which is another principle, leadership. And yeah, so I'm not sure if they're going to be the same questions, but you should always be thinking which leadership principle aligns to this question, and try to be direct, objective, and try to show off your strength.
Thank you so much, Anna. I think something, especially in the age of ChatGPT, it can feel really, I think people feel really overwhelmed or stressed about how to craft and frame a fresh original answer when it's like there seems like there's an AI that can just easily rattle off something that sounds incredible, but there is value to your original experiences, and there's a strategy for how you can filter that. Gaby, I was going to come to you next, so yes, perfect.
It's perfect. So that is a point that I really resonate with, just in terms of kind of top tips for the application, is the authenticity of your experience and how actually powerful it can be when you bring that across, and kind of the passion that you show in it. I think for me, when you were talking earlier about disqualifying yourself from the competition, that was a real kind of challenge for me, because I kind of thought, I'm not a DevOps engineer. I don't code anymore. I lead teams instead who do the coding. And so I was like, what is a Scrum Master and kind of a client help partner gonna do at this kind of conference? Like, what can I actually gain from it? I think there were two things from me. So the first one was that I understood what I actually needed to get out of reInvent, and what I needed to get out of a kind of broader understanding of AWS. And so for me, working as I do as a consultant, my role is to be able to support my teams in the technologies that they're using. And a lot of our projects are hosted on AWS and use AWS technologies. And so I needed to be able to better understand those technologies and things that were coming up and things that could impact our projects as well, so that I could kind of help be that advisor if needed to the teams or to the clients. The second thing then that I do in my role is to help clients understand the technology that we're using and what the implications of that are for their business. So it's if we, use one AWS technology versus another one, if AWS is the best cloud for them to use versus another provider. Those are the kind of things that I needed to understand from the conference to be able to do my role better. And so I think one of the things that I focused on in the application was, I might not be kind of in the code doing, the engineering myself, but I need to be able to understand these things at a high enough level, and enough of them, and understand the implications, then I can explain them to other people and kind of help to grow AWS's business in that way. And I think focusing on that in my application actually managed to set me apart more than I thought it would do, I guess, because I knew exactly what I needed to get out of reInvent, and exactly what I would get out of the network and the training and the opportunities and the sessions that we were going to. I think the second point then, so to not only what my role is and what I guess what I'm bringing to the table kind of thing, is that I still have something that I'm really passionate about, which is I've always been really passionate about the public sector. I work consult in the public sector. I studied politics and international relations before I did my computer science master's. It's always been the thing, development and politics and just making a better society. That's always been really important for me. And that's another thing that I made so shone in my application, just my absolute drive and passion for it. And I mean, I don't know, because I've never actually asked, but I would assume that that is the thing that, again, kind of showed that I wasn't just here to go to a cool conference or to see some cool technology, but that I had something that was really driving me forward. And so, yeah, I would say if there's something that is important to you, something that drives your career, something that gets you up in the morning, don't shy away from including that in your application, because the chances are there will be someone at the conference that is either talking about it or working on it, and you get to network with them. But also it allows you to bring a little bit something different to the community itself. And being that we're trying to create a community of future technology leaders, we need people from all of those diverse backgrounds and with those like real intense passions for topics and for different things. So yeah, I think make that side of you shine. Don't just talk about your skills, but talk about what drives you as well.
I think that's so beautifully said. And I think that that was very clear at the conference, just based on the types of people that were present. You found people from all over the world, incredibly genuine, incredibly enthusiastic. Everyone was so friendly. There were so many opportunities to actually really connect with people, whether it was the dinners or the various keynotes or speaking events or activities and things like that. And yeah, not discounting the specific, whether it's particularly niche, like the public sector, that has some relevance to technology. Everything has some relevance or value to technology these days. And you might be bringing a perspective, you might be wanting that is not commonly seen. It's not just about ticking certain boxes, but definitely about helping facilitate the type of leaders that we want to see in tech, as you just said. So thank you for emphasizing that and highlighting that. I want to go on to another tip that I noticed through Yolanda. Yolanda, you wrote an article earlier this year that highlighted a resource that AWS has for people wanting to attend the conference. I think the idea of going away for 5 days or a week might be a little overwhelming or challenging to figure out how to justify that to your boss or whoever. But can you elaborate a bit on that resource that you found and how useful it is? And I'll also share a link to it in the chat.
Okay, so it was actually a pleasant surprise for me to notice that AWS made such a wonderful resource available to help anyone get your trip approved. And that is why I decided to post this resource on LinkedIn. So actually, this resource is a customizable email template, which is specifically designed to help you convince your manager and showcase the value of attending reInvent. And this template actually allows you to tailor your message, highlighting the benefits and opportunities that AWS reInvent offers to both yourself and your organization. So I would really encourage anyone who is interested in attending the conference to use this template as a guide and make your request. All you need to do is customize the sample template to fit your specific goals. So make use of that resource.
Okay, thanks, Yolanda. And then we'll open it up to a Q&A in just a moment, just to share from my own personal experience with the conference. For me, I started off, a little bit fresh. I'm a coding instructor as well, like Yolanda. But I went in because there were some AWS tools that I wanted to learn about and didn't know where to start. I had a personal project that I wanted to build, and I'd been nerding out about it on my own, and I just expressed a real enthusiasm for it. And that seemed to be plenty enough. I think you can also be specific about the actual AWS services that really resonate with you and why. And something that I really enjoyed at the conference was getting exposed to new services as they were being released, or where there were updates to them, such as AWS Personalize. I'm trying to personally work on a recommendation engine for something, and just being able to talk one-on-one with people to get some advice and perspective on that was really, really exciting. Okay, so we're gonna open it up to questions. Please feel free to post them in the Q&A portion, or if you're having trouble with that, you're more than welcome to post ideally in the Q&A section, but if you're not able to, the chat is fine as well. I'll try to keep an eye on both, but the Q&A section would be preferred. So we have a question from Eleanor on not disqualifying yourself. Is the first 5 years of careers a hard and fast thing, or is it still worth applying if you've been working in tech longer than that? Does anyone want to take that?
I would say, how do we phrase this? So definitely it's first 5 years of a tech career. I would emphasize that point, because there were quite a few people that had transitioned after having worked as an accountant or various other things, as Yolanda had said. And so like, don't assume that it means you have to it has to be your first 5 years working period. I think knowing that the grant program is very much for capturing people at the beginning of their journey and then helping to accelerate them forwards, I would assume that it's quite hard and fast to be in the first 5 years of your tech career. I say this because I know that there was at least 1 or 2 people that I know of that applied the year that we went on and were above their 5 years, didn't disclose that in their application, but were disqualified. I don't know if that's the reason, but yeah, I would say it's worth just being honest about it. But again, as Hope and the others have mentioned, there are other opportunities and other kind of communities to get involved with and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't say you're disqualified from being part of this network, the AWS community, or anything like that whatsoever, if you do happen to be above those 5 years. But yeah, up to your discretion.
Yeah, I'd say I agree. Don't disqualify yourself. And also, if you're returning to tech, who knows? It depends. It might be the first 5 years of your return to tech. I don't know how long your hiatus might have been, or if there are extenuating circumstances. So just make no assumptions and definitely give it a try. Okay, so, oh yeah, I'll post a link to the application. What I'll just quickly check in about the questions on the application as well. One of the questions includes, there's about 5 or 6 questions. Some of them are to list your technology related education, your training, coursework history, formal and informal, and then they want you to list the name of the school, organization, degree, or certificate you earned or sought, or your major course of study. That one is 500 characters. They want you to highlight your technology related work or internship experience with those relevant details there. And then if there are any personal, professional activities or accomplishments, certifications, awards, clubs, and other activities. What are your plans and professional goals? And what are you hoping to gain from attending the conference? And what is your experience using AWS products and services and any other technological experience? And if you're new to tech, because it is open if you are new, describe your technology related aspirations and plans specifically over the next 6 to 12 months. And then finally, what personal or professional accomplishment are you most proud of? And then another question that, we've gotten a few more in the chat. Okay, great. Another question that does come up a lot is that, do they really fly you from all over the world? You know, what if you're from a country that requires visas? They have a process for that. They're really and truly, it sounds too good to be true, which is why we're hosting the event. There are really and truly people from all over the world attending, and there is a process for helping people facilitate their visas to attend. And even beyond the conference, there's a world of support. It's a very, very active community on the Slack channel, and everyone's just constantly cheering each other on, supporting each other. And, you know, I even experienced as well, like Gaby has been really, really wonderful about facilitating community following the conference, and sharing her experiences as a consultant and connecting with people and making referrals and recommendations. And people are just generally really kind and open. How many people get in per year versus how many applications do they get? I don't know, but I know they get thousands. I don't know how many there are of us, actually. That's a very good question.
I think the first year, so I think 2021 might have been like 150, and then our cohort I think was like 300, but I'm pulling those names out of the hat. I don't know. Yeah, we don't know whether it's going to go up or down this year, but we know that there are definitely more people applying because we have all waxed lyrical about this thing.
Yeah, I generally think there's going to be a lot of applicants this year for sure. But let's just say there are a lot, but do it anyway. And if it doesn't work out this year, you can try to be an AWS community builder. It's just truly, truly don't underestimate the value of your enthusiasm.
I do
Okay.
think as well, Hope, I remember, I think in the T's and C's, it says that if you don't get accepted, I think you can reapply. So like, you may just have more experience next year. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm posting the link again in the chat with the application for people to take a look at it, and you can start to fill that out. We have a question. I'm an unemployed student. Can I still attend? Yes, even better. You don't have to justify it to your boss.
Right.
You're the perfect attendee. There are people that were multitasking and working and just like run ragged because they were trying to do both during the conference. You will be the perfect conference attendee. Yeah. So, and then are the hotels right beside the conference? Okay. Do they place you, or do you have to handle the bookings on your own? Does anyone want to answer that?
Yeah, so right after you received the email of people telling you that you were accepted, you will be provided with a couple of links. One is to get your flights, one is for the hotel accommodation, and the other one, I think it's just for registration for your batch that you're gonna get once you arrive there. So these portals are like from AWS. You just have to select the ones that better fits your schedule. You don't have to pay anything nor anything else. You just have to select which one you like, you confirm it, and then that's it. I mean, you have a due date. You've been provided with that link, and you have like only 1 week, I think, extra for sending those your hotel submission and the plane tickets.
Can I just add one very important point concerning the visas? Last year, I realized that those who had challenges having visas to travel to Las Vegas could actually defer their applications to this year. So I just thought it necessary to share this particular aspect. I don't know if it's going to be the same for this year, but that is what we had as of last year.
I thought that was incredibly kind and thoughtful of them, because they really were emphasizing that they want you to be there. They want you to benefit from it. And of course, every country is different and the regulations are different. And they were just very supportive of people to find a way to make it happen. Another thing that I do want to emphasize again is that the hotels are right beside the conference, but it is Las Vegas. So right beside might as well be a mile away. Even if it's directly across the street, even crossing the street is an adventure of going, navigating up stairs, bridges. It's a maze. It is very, very exhausting. And so I did not see everything. I don't know if any of you managed to see everything. I don't know do you have any tips for just staying healthy and surviving the conference? Period.
Don't wear heels. I stupidly thought that I was going to dress in my consulting attire, and yeah, that's about it. I would say go as if, like, assume that it's not casual, but it's definitely not business attire whatsoever. So I was told trainers, plenty of water, like just imagine, you're kind of going on hikes during the day, and then you're just sitting in sessions to break up the hikes is basically how it is working. We did, so because of our jet lag, and this is probably another thing, if you're traveling from quite far away, try and get there either the Saturday or the Sunday just to prep yourself for the Monday. So we managed to that's how we dealt with our jet lag. But it did mean that because I was waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I got a good walk in. We got to go see the sites like during the day, which meant that we got everything else done.
Earlier somebody was asking, because there are students, whether they can apply, go ahead and apply the All Builders Welcome program, when they say they welcome everyone with diverse background, and they do meet it. If you remember last year during our farewell party, somebody stood up and she was speaking about her experience. She was speaking in Spanish, and I did not understand. The person who sat next to me translated for me. So what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if you are comfortable speaking English. The All Builders Welcome program, they do mean welcome you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna also just say as well, like, even though it's, being able to, you're able to connect with people from because it has people from all over the world, you will find people from your little pocket of the world. And they also give you these badges as well to say what language you speak and where you're coming from, what you identify. They had a badge for neurodivergent people for just kind of saying, this is where I am. Say hello to me, or is my social clock, or my social meter or whatever running a little low. So you could kind of just determine who was like ready for a chat and who just really needed to kind of, keep a low profile. I thought that was really funny. Someone asked, if I can get in, can I bring my +1 to stay with me? They'll pay for their own flights. And I can definitely say yes, you can bring a +1 with you, but what to keep in mind is that, well, they can stay in your hotel, but if they want to attend the conference and the conference events, they will need a badge and they will need to be able to access that themselves. Okay, can one of you or all of you answer, are there any particular areas you recommend researching about AWS services for someone who has little to no cloud computing experience?
The skills builder page. It has a lot of workshops, kind of like test exams. Yeah, it has a lot of things you can build, you can learn, you can hear, and it will teach you from the very basics to an expert level. So, and it's free. So I will recommend you to go into that webpage.
I would equally recommend AWS Skill Builder as well as AWS Educate. So these are all sandbox environments where you can just create your account and start building skills. There are also sessions like Twitch. There are sessions like AWS Essentials where you can join online and you will be introduced to the basics of AWS. And I think these resources are invaluable to help set a very solid foundation so that you actually don't get lost when you are there attending the reInvent. So
something I want to add to that, and also just I've posted quite a few links in the chat, and there are quite a few resources. And I think I want to tap into something that maybe some of you might be feeling, which is maybe if you're new to this, what the heck is AWS and why are there so many resources? It can be so overwhelming. There are so many services, there are so many tools, and perhaps any of you can, talk about what your way into AWS is and how you recommend people exploring or navigating it if they're new to it. Yolanda, do you have any maybe thoughts on that, particularly since you're a cloud instructor, just how you encourage people that are starting off on their cloud journey?
For instance, with AWS Educate, you don't need to have a credit card because there are some resources that you need to use your credit card to create an account. So this is a very, very good resource that you can actually make good use of and take your cloud journey to the next level. So I highly recommend AWS Educate. And also, just to have a Twitch account, you don't need any financial engagement as well. AWS Essential Days, also these are online webinars that you can actually subscribe to and attend them regularly. These are actually resources that will help you build your cloud skills and, help you to achieve your dreams. Yeah.
And another thing to consider as well, for me, what I would say is that actually AWS was my first steps into tech and coding. I was very, very green. I just was really tickled by the idea of the fact that I could build a robot if I wanted to, of all things. Essentially the whole Internet of Things and all the tools that you could use, working with some of their AI tools or the voice activated, devices and toys and things that you can kind of play around with. It just blew my mind that these tools and services are just there, and the sky's the limit in terms of your imagination and what you want to build. But then I got really excited, and that's what got me into diving further into learning how to code. But I would say perhaps start from where your area of interest is in tech and use that as a place to explore. So if you're a front-end developer, there are tools for front-end developers. If you just want to, work with a Raspberry Pi and make some cool device, there's stuff for that. If you are a gamer, there are tools for gamers. And there's also Cloud Quest. I'll find the link for that, which is a way to simulate a lot of the AWS services through this interactive game, which is really, really fun. But yeah, that's essentially it. It is overwhelming. It's a massive landscape, but don't let that deter you. Just kind of find a place from your enthusiasm as your way in. Okay, so someone said, I'm currently studying for the Azure Fundamentals exam. Is this worth mentioning, even though it's not AWS? Anyone want to take that?
I would say you can mention it, but also add like you're interested to get a AWS certification so you can have like a multi-cloud perspective. That's also helpful. I mean, if you're getting Azure Fundamentals, that means you're maybe getting started with tech, right? Or with cloud. So you can say, hey, I'm getting prepared for this, but I'm also looking forward to get practitioner, I don't know, solutions architect, to get a multi-cloud profile. And I think that could help you.
Yeah, Anna is absolutely correct. When I apply for mine, I mentioned not only my AWS certifications, but also Azure and also my CompTIA Security Plus certifications. At the end of the day, you want to show them that you are eager to learn and you are able to see things in a broad mindset, right?
I was going to say as well, I think because last year, if I remember rightly, the question specifically asked about AWS related training, coursework, certifications, that kind of thing. If I'm correct in remembering that, they've changed it this year. So it says your technology related education coursework, which makes me think that they're looking for that like broader viewpoint. So one of the things that I kind of advise people that come to me with this question, especially in consulting, is that things like agile related certificates, I'm trying to think of another, like enterprise design thinking, that kind of thing, that's more about, that's to do with technology. It's not necessarily a cloud certificate, but it also counts towards proving, I guess, your technology interest, your desire to grow your skills, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think echoing what the two ladies said previously, it's that like holistic viewpoint. As long as you can tie it back to why that's relevant to AWS, to you going to this reInvent program, to your future technology career, cool.
Perfectly said. I think, yeah, just don't rule out anything that demonstrates your enthusiasm, that demonstrates your commitment, and that you follow things through. So if you have certifications and things like that, that definitely reflects that. We have one more question. We have 5 more minutes. Thank you so much for all of the questions. I want to leave some room for final comments, but feel free to add any more final questions, just giving a heads up that we'll be wrapping up shortly. Someone's interested to know the steps that follow the application form. Does anyone want to take that?
I'd say to start with, as far as, unless anyone else had different experiences, there was no like interview process or anything like that. It was basically your application form is your one chance to shine and the thing that determines whether you get it or not. We don't know whether it will be different this year, but your steps from that point onwards were essentially, I think we had a delay of about a month, maybe a month and a half, just because there were so many applications that year, more than anyone expected. We then got a confirmation email at like various points. And then we got the instructions that Anna was talking about earlier about how to set up for your hotel, register for the conference, that kind of thing. On my side, I then started packing, set up a Trello board to plan what I was going to do to get started. I did my visa application and everything like that. In the UK, we have something called an ESTA, so it's a little bit quicker. And then, yeah, ready to go.
Yeah. And if you are selected, they will schedule like a Zoom call, virtual call with you. By all means, try to attend. And I remember they also sent us a PowerPoint slide, what to know before you go. I read 2-3 times every single word, make sure that I did not forget anything, that I did not know about anything.
One important thing that I would also like to share here is that actually we had a right to 5 days stay in the hotel, but there was a bit of confusion in the sense that if you had to travel all the way from Brussels to Las Vegas, for instance, you might want to go a day earlier so that you recover from the jet lag and start off your day on Monday. But the most important thing is that this will be covered by you because the grant offers 5 days paid stay in the hotel. So I think they might be flexible. They were flexible last year. I don't know about this year, but just to emphasize that you are entitled to 5 days in your hotel room. So from Monday to Friday. Yeah.
And some people opted to stay longer to just enjoy Las Vegas conference free for a couple more days. One more thing that Yvonne just posted a link to there's this She Builds program that AWS has to help you train for the cloud practitioner or the solutions architect. They have another one for that. That's free training. And I definitely recommend going through that as well if you're interested. And then as we're wrapping up, I also wanted everyone to share their profiles, their LinkedIn, how you can keep in touch with you if anyone wants to reach out or connect. And if there are any questions that you might have, I highly, highly encourage you to join the Women Who Code Cloud community or the Women Who Code, any of the tracks that resonate. I was so passionate. I joined all of them when I first started. I was very hungry for all the technical talks and workshops and all the different opportunities. And something else I want to emphasize is, again, with the mission for Women Who Code, really empowering careers for women in tech. And also empowering leadership opportunities. I think if you are really enthusiastic about finding ways to demonstrate your passion for technology, adding your own imprint and sharing your skills in some capacity, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to talk to you, whether that's writing articles, perhaps giving a technical talk or workshop. There are definitely opportunities for that. And I think that is open to everyone at every level. It's just a matter of sharing it. And we can work out the details. Okay, so thank you, everyone. A big, big thank you to each of our panelists today. You've been incredible, and you're all so absolutely inspiring. I'm so proud to know each of you, and I think that the tech world is better because you're there. And yeah, that's essentially it. Thanks to everyone that attended. This session is recorded. We'll be posting it on YouTube, and you can also visit the Women Who Code website for additional events as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you too.
Thank you for having us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.